Okay, so this is the second part of chain rule. This is going to be section 2.4, part 2. This is more chain rule. The trick here when you do this is you're going to have to remember these reciprocal identities. Tangent is sine over cosine. Cotangent is cosine over sine. Secant is 1 over cosine. And cosecant is 1 over sine. So we're going to have a problem which looks like this. All right, so the first thing you do is come in and say, I can't do this because I cannot find the derivative of cotangent of x. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I never learned what the derivative of cotangent is. What I do is I rewrite this. If you remember, we had talked about, and I just did this, that cotangent is the same as cosine over sine. That's going to be over sine. So we clear this out. It's the same as multiplying by 1 over sine of x. So my new function, and it's the same function, looks like cosine of x over sine squared of x. All right, you might think, where does this come in? This is quotient rule, and you're right. But let's take a look at what sine squared of x really means. It is sine of x squared. All right? We tend to write it like this rather than like this, but they're equivalent writings. So you can see that we're going to have a chain rule in our denominator, but we're still dealing with product rule. All right, so let's come back in. And so we got our function right here. So f of x is going to equal to cosine of x over sine of x squared. Alrighty, so what do we do now? Well, this is quotient rule. So we do just like we've always done with quotient rule. F is cosine of x. G is sine of x squared. Okay, f prime equals negative sine of x. G prime, quotient rule. All right, and if you remember, I see there's my inner one, there's my outer one. So to find G prime, first I'm going to have to find my U is sine of x. U prime is cosine of x. So now to do this, my G prime will equal U prime, which is cosine of x, times the derivative with respect to U of U squared, because I'm substituting that in for sine of x. All right, well, this doesn't look so bad. That's just a simple little power rule. So y prime is cosine of x times 2u. And now I substitute back in for my u. So y prime is going to be equal to 2 cosine of x sine of x. And so that is my G prime. All right, that seems like a lot of work. You'd think you'd be done, And you would be wrong. Because now we're ready to put this whole puppy inside of quotient rule. All right, so what we do then is I'm going to have f prime g. So I'm going to have negative sine of x times sine squared of x. That's f prime g minus g prime f. So that will be 2 cosine of x sine of x times cosine of x, which is going to make this 2 cosine squared of x. All of that is over sine squared of x squared. And we're still not done. So I'm going to have negative sine cubed of x, sine of x on sine squared of x, minus 2 cosine squared of x, sine of x. So what I want to do now is all of this is going to be over sine to the fourth of x. I notice I've got a sine of x in here, so I'm going to go ahead and I also have a negative. Ooh, neat. So let's factor negative. I'm going to have sine of x, and this will be times sine squared of x plus, it's because I bought the negative out, 2 cosine squared of x over sine to the fourth of x. The initial thing is, oh look, sine squared, cosine squared. Not good. But I can't take it out here, so I'm going to end up with a negative sine squared of x plus 2 cosine squared of x over sine to the cube of x. And that is my derivative. Okay, let's take a look at one more example here. All right. Ooh, we don't have a theta. Not a problem. We treat an x. We treat theta just like we did an x. First thing we notice is we've got to pull my 1/4 out. I have 1/4, and then I need to find the derivative with respect to theta of sine of 2 theta squared. All right. Well, I've got one nested inside of here already. So the first thing I need to do then is I'm going to have, and this will be U1. There's my first U. So U1 will be equal to 2 theta. U prime sub 1 is 2. All right. And then we come back in, and that's all of this puppy right inside of here. So my U, now my big U that I'm interested in, it's inside of here, is going to be sine of 2 theta. All right? Show you why I did this. Because I've got sine of 2 theta squared. So u prime. Well, we've basically done this. We've got this guy right here. So it's going to be 2, which was the inside part of that, the derivative of it, times d du of sine of u, which will equal to negative, that's 2 times cosine of u. And then I substitute back in for my u. So my u prime now becomes 2 cosine of 2 theta. And that's this thing inside all of this other mess that I had. Okay? And if you remember right, our original function was 1/4 sine of 2 theta squared. All right, so we've got all of this. And if you take a look now, all we have to do is multiply by 1/4. So I should have 1/4 of 2 cosine of 2 theta, which is going to give me cosine of 2 theta over 2. And there's our derivative. And we're done.